Did have a couple guys cramping up with the heat, but our defense played tough. Showed some things there we got to build off of, just not good enough. Scoring touchdowns, obviously, not acceptable. And then too many penalties. Disappointed. The special teams penalties really hurt our offense, set us back inside the 10 at times, inside the 15. So just every time we get a decent return, it seemed like we had a penalty. So can't do that, but just play the game. You learn from week 1, and you move on to week 2. Questions?
Tom, if you'll forgive kind of just the obvious, what was the thought process behind essentially splitting the quarterback reps, and did you feel like either guy gave you something to think about that maybe you weren't already, maybe didn't already feel like you knew about?
Yeah, I'll be very open about the process. So went through the whole thing. I said we made our decision. Our decision was to play them both in the first 2 games. So Sorsby started this week. Taven starts next week. And the guys know that. They knew that ahead of time. And so, because here's the reality. You have spring ball, you have summer, and you have fall camp, and they never get hit, and it's not full bore live football playing in the game. And they need to play in the game for us to truly be able to. It was one guy would have a good practice, and the other guy, and it would be back and forth or a good week, and it was just all kind of like, man, so similar. And so, but at the same, so we felt like the best thing to do was let's let them see them play. We told them both they're going to both play. We didn't have like a pitch count. We didn't say when you're going to go in. We just said whoever starts week 1, everyone's going to start week 2. That's how we set it up. And so gives us a chance to be able to, after the first 2 games, be able to evaluate where we're at, where they're at, and what we need to be able to do moving forward. So that's what happened today. I couldn't even tell you how many snaps each one of them played, but we'll watch the film. And bottom line, it's about being able to move the football down the field and get us in the end zone. So we weren't able to score with either one of them, and so we obviously got to get better. And so we got to do a better job executing and just continue to grow our offense. And obviously they do a lot of things that make it very difficult, and just felt like that we needed game time to evaluate. And that's really where we are. So we don't have preseason games. We don't have anything against anybody else. And so, we obviously had to play a Big Ten opponent week 1. That's something that was, part of the deal. And so we chose to go that direction. So I thought both guys did some good things. Both guys made some mistakes. So it's got to build off of it.
Hey, Coach. Obviously, the opponent has something to do with this. That's a really talented defense, but you guys struggled to throw the ball and really nothing downfield. Was it kind of the game plan to do that, or would you like to see more shots down the field?
I would say it was, probably a little more conservative than we, even in that game, would like for it to be, so, but there's certain reasons for that without question. So, but yeah, we got to be able to do that, and that's going to grow for sure. And we really felt like coming in, you're going to have to take about, 7 or 8 shots, and then a couple of those we had and then got pressure. And so, but at the same time, yeah, there's no question we got talented receivers on the perimeter and got to do a better job of getting those guys the football. But I think you're just going to see it continue to grow each week. There's no question about it. Both these guys can throw the football, but I just think, once again, some of the field position didn't help us several times. When you're backed up like that, that's when you make big mistakes and get costly situations, and you don't want to throw picks in those spots. And so, once again, 2 young guys, probably a little more conservative than we will be moving forward. But not probably, definitely more conservative than we will be moving forward. But at the same time, just got to continue to get better.
I know you can't predict the future, but you said you want to reevaluate the quarterbacks after the 2 games. Is your hope that one separates themselves and you could just stick to one then and not keep rotating?
Yeah, I would like to be able to have that, yes. But I just think it's really just fair to be able to have them both play. It's the same opponent. If you just play one against one team, one against another team, it really doesn't give you a pretty clear picture at all, because obviously they're 2 different opponents. Our first 2 opponents are very different.
Tom, were you given an explanation on the incomplete pass at the end of the first half by the officials?
Explanation for
the incomplete pass that was reviewed?
Oh yeah, they said his arm was going forward. So I mean, obviously, I didn't think it was, but yeah, it's just a review that they go through, and it's not like I can challenge that. So once they review it, they made that decision. So, but I thought it was a hit and a fumble. So obviously we'd had the ball and saved us 3 points. But so.
Tom, your defense, gave you a chance, for most of the game today. It seemed like, especially in the middle, Aaron and Jacob really kind of set the tone. How big of a catalyst is it when you get good play from your linebackers?
It's huge.
Like
I was really proud of Jacob. Obviously, we've never seen Jacob play in a game, here, just on film at Stanford. And so I thought that he did a really good job. And I think he's played the way we expect him to play. So we're excited about those two guys. They're two big physical guys that can both run and make plays. So we showed some signs up front, too, to be able to do some things that are going to be very important moving forward. So just got to keep getting better. And I like to look in our guys' eye. I mean, there's no doubt there's a lot of disappointment in that locker room, but at the same time, we got to be able to look ourselves in the eye, make corrections, and get ready for a short week.
Tom, follow up on that a little bit with the secondary of the defense. There was a lot of questions coming into this game, especially going against one of the, if not the best receiving corps in the country, and it looks like they passed that test today.
I believe so, and obviously, you don't know until you go do it. I was really concerned about that matchup without question, and it is. I know for a fact those receivers are special, and the one is probably the best we've ever gone against since I've been coaching in my entire career. And so, just to be able to do, to keep those guys in check was very critical. And it was a combination of some pressure up front as well as the guys covering on the back end and just trying to do a good job of disguising things. And that's just, you saw how we're going to play. Man, that's the system. That's who we are. That's what we want to be able to do. Mix things up, confuse people, got some length in the back end, got some playmakers. I thought we dropped 2 picks. They would have been tough catches. We dropped 2 picks. They ended up getting 6 points off of 2 field goals that we got to make plays on. But I was very encouraged by our secondary. As you said, there's a whole bunch of new guys. And then you got Jamari Sharp, who's a redshirt freshman that didn't play much last year, and he really played a lot today. And so a lot to build off of, a lot to be excited about in that area. We just got to keep battling, keep getting better. Yeah, I would say, we got a little tired. The heat was a part of that, but obviously it's for both teams. But I thought that we did a good job of establishing the line of scrimmage defensively, made it hard on them. We gave up a couple creases there, but not very many, and we've struggled. You can go back and look at the stats if I need to help you on that, but we have not done a good job stopping the run against these guys for many years now. Even in the year we played them close, it wasn't because we played great run defense. It ran all over us, and so we made a concerted effort. Obviously, we went out and found guys that we felt like gave us some size and length and ability to help us do a better job physically, but also just made sure we just worked so hard on our run fits all fall camp, all spring long. So I think there's a lot to build off there on that without question. You got to stop the run, and we got some talented DBs that help us when they do have to throw in some guys that can pressure them. So, there's no question. They had new quarterbacks too, so having new quarterbacks creates, a difficulty for an offense without question. But at the same time, they've been a machine on offense for a long, long time and got some really, really talented football players in the backfield up front and on the perimeter. So I thought our guys did a lot of good things defensively. I was more encouraged by the bows up in the red zone. That's when you got a long drive, you're tired, you're fatigued. It's a gut check, it's a character check, it's can you bow up when your body is really, really exhausted and fatigued and make a play against an elite team and a top 3 team in the country. So to me, our guys showed that, forced them to kick several field goals, and that's how you win games.
Coach, going back to the quarterbacks, is there a certain aspect of the offense or an element that you feel more comfortable with, or is maybe more open with one quarterback versus the other, or are you trying to keep kind of the same offensive scheme for both guys?
Yeah, I don't know that we really look at it as that we're changing with those two guys. I think that their skill sets are similar enough. We really will. There may be a couple of things that I wouldn't get, put out that we might say we would do per their strengths, but it's not holistically major, okay? It would be some subtle things within both the run game and the throw game to favor their strengths. But, as a system, though, we just got to keep growing and getting better at it. And like I said, I think they both showed some signs of that and also showed that, they're young, but we just got to keep working. It's one of those situations where, we know what's ahead of us, what we got to do, and I want to see a lot of growth between week 1 and week 2. We say it all the time. It's very, very true. We knew we didn't have any any margin for error week 1 because of our opponent, but at the same time, the growth is still expected between week 1 and week 2. And so that's not going to be different, especially with our offense and our defense as well and our special teams play. So, but I think that those guys showed that, there's much to build off of without question. So I'm not going to sit here and be negative because that's not who I am. It doesn't serve any purpose. It doesn't help us get any better. It's just finding the things we can do to get better from now until we play again and really dive into those. And there's no off day this week. Monday's usually our off day. We'll practice on Monday because of our Friday games. So, but you know how I feel about Friday night games. That's not a decision that we make. That comes straight from the Big Ten. So if anyone wants to complain about that, don't talk to me. Okay, and so that's Friday night football is for high school football. Bottom line, I'll say it till I'm blue in the face until somebody tells me to shut up. So, and I'll probably say it again. Friday night football is for high school football.
Coach James Evans, like 54.5-yard average today. What kind of weapon can he provide the rest of the season if he stays this consistent?
Yeah, my big thing for him is consistency, and he was excellent today, and he works his tail off, and every year he just keeps getting better. And so I'm really proud of him. I mean, he's one of those guys. I got to tell him, and I said this year ago, I got to tell him to stop kicking. He tries to kick way too much in the off season, summertime, and so. But he's such a hard worker. He cares so much, and not at all surprised. Matter of fact, Coach Guerrero, when he came and joined us, he's like, "Man, that's the best punter I've ever seen on any team I've been a part of." And I would agree, because he continues to get better. So big weapon for us, and obviously he's got to do his job consistently well, and it helps us flip the field. So. Got to have everybody doing their job at a high level to win in this conference.
Kind of with Jalen, it felt like obviously some opportunities in special teams. He had, I think, that one punt return in particular, but couldn't really find the same room offensively. What did you like, maybe especially from him in an expanded special teams role, and where do you feel like you need to keep working to kind of get him the touches he needs? Maybe, I guess, the spots on the field he needs those touches.
I would say, the whole, and I was questioned last year why he didn't return punts last year. And he wasn't ready, so he struggled in that area to catch the ball. And he has worked as much as James. So James would tell you that J. Lou would be coming to get him. Every time you're punting, I'm catching. He caught punts after punt after punt all off season to be able to put himself in position to be our punt returner. Because that is a very difficult skill set to be able to do, especially it's the kind of punters we're going to play against. So that's a huge new weapon. We got to do a great job making sure we don't get any penalties in those returns. But that's a huge way for us to get him the ball in space, even more so than kickoff returns. We have the nature of the way punts are. And then offensively, we just got to continue to find ways to get him the ball in space. And that to me is going to be, we have a pitch count for him to make sure he gets so many touches. Obviously, he went out a couple different times with some cramping, which he's got such, a lean body type and, such a small percent of body fat, and he's all muscled up. So that's a concern. We obviously work through that as we go each week, and we'll have a night game on this weekend, which may help. And so, but at the same time, we want to see him get the ball in space. That's where he's the most dangerous. So I think that will continue to be a chance to get him the ball, and I think our offensive, there's no question we understand how valuable he is. So he's a great little player. We just got to keep working to get him the ball. Appreciate you guys. Have a great day, Elio.